Alright, this is A Fraud in Japan Volume 7. I can't believe I'm actually 7 videos deep into this series. I appreciate all the views we've been getting from these, and I really appreciate the comments, even the crazy ones. But I guess just keep it up. I'm really happy with this series so far. And I'm glad some people out there understand what I'm talking about. Some of you other people, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I think maybe you're not actually listening to what I'm saying because what you comment directly conflicts with what I actually said in the video, so maybe you should actually pay attention. So in this video, Abroad in Japan and his friend Regan recorded a 90-minute video chat where they answered questions about life in Japan. This video is the edited down YouTube version of that. I was skeptical going into this, but I actually got a lot out of it. Not about Japan, but about what kind of person Abroad in Japan is. So it was actually a video that was worth my time. It's something I've actually been searching for with this series. This is mainly his friend Regan asking him questions and then he tries to answer them. So let's just get into the video. What's the best and worst thing about being an ALT? Best, you are treated really well. It's quite a comfortable lifestyle. Everything is taken care of, and the salary isn't bad. In terms of living in Japan, you can live a comfortable lifestyle. The bad thing is the time frame. You're just some sort of disposable tool for 3 to 5 years. Then after that, it's like you're done here. There's no sense of progression, or you can't go up. There's no long-term plan. This job is great. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I was never a jet, but my first job in Japan was as an ALT from a terrible dispatch company. Like him, I was out in the middle of nowhere. I tell Japanese people I used to live in Kawagoe, and they're like, "What? I never heard of that." I was treated pretty well by the older staff. Like the people in their 40s and 50s were pretty nice. Except for like the vice principal, he was a huge dickhead. He was just an asshole. Even the Japanese staff hated him. However, the people in their 20s and 30s were not super friendly though. I actually really wish they could have been cooler. That would have helped me transition a little better into living in Japan, especially my first year. But the older staff was pretty nice. Like they taught me how to make coffee and the shit. But they're alright. He says, and the salary isn't bad. Yeah, if you're a jet, you're going to make more money than other ALTs, except our pal Jeremy, who was apparently in a jet trial program where they placed him in a bad city and then reduced his pay on top of that. He got screwed like his whole time here. As far as comfortable life, I've seen your apartment. There doesn't look to be anything comfortable about it. Yeah, it's convenient that they set it up for you because they know no one moving to Japan is going to be able to rent an apartment by themselves or even get a guarantor to sign for them. So it's more of a necessity for the company to have these crappy apartments ready to go for the next gaijin to move in. My company also had a nice Leo Palace ready for me. A place with paper-thin walls and tons of cockroaches. Like the roaches were thicker than the walls. They should have built the walls out of cockroaches. It would have been a little more insulated. Like him, I too, for about 4 months, thought it was a pretty sweet deal, the apartment setup. And they do help you kind of move in and get situated. These companies usually have one woman who used to live in Britain who is back in Japan for unknown reasons that helps people out. And everybody tried dating her too. Like, that was really funny. There was one guy who I think got kicked out for like talking to kids, but I think he was trying to like message her and meet up with her on the side. But about my Leo Palace apartment, I liked it at first just because I was living on my own and I didn't know what to expect. But then my friend came to visit and he was like, "Do you live in a prison?" I was like, "Oh wow, I never noticed, but it was even shaped like a prison." Also, I wonder how soon after getting YouTube money did he move out of his comfortable apartment. When talking about his salary, he says it's not bad for Japan. I think that is the closest we'll see Abroad in Japan telling us his real thoughts about anything Japanese. Even he was like, "I don't feel comfortable saying it's good." I think jets make an okay salary because they are government employees. If you're working for a dispatch company, your pay can be quite low. Like I've said before, $2,000 a month and half pay in summer isn't a lot, especially if it's your first time living alone. And things in Japan can be quite expensive. Also, I hate it when people compare the value of yen to typically the dollar, but for him the British pound. People always say Japan is so cheap because of the exchange rate. Man, a 6,000 yen meal. That's only like $40 back home. Yeah, that's not how that works. When I first came here about 15 years ago on vacation, the yen to dollar ratio was relatively 1-to-1. If these tourists came here then, I don't think they would be talking about how cheap Japan is. Wow, a $60 meal. Honey, let's try eating at the konbini every meal tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do one of those internet challenges. Let's do the konbini thing. Actually, on the whole exchange rate thing, like when I first came here, it was 1-to-1 and Japan was quite expensive. And back then, there were not a lot of foreign tourists here. And I can kind of see why Japan's always mad that the yen is so low, which is 100% their fault. But, man, you're getting so much tourism money that, like, why are you complaining? You're getting a lot of fucking money. But I think it's probably the fact that, like, a lot of Chinese people are coming here, and Japan does not want to be seen as lower than them. Also, we work in Japan, so we get paid in yen. So these cheap meals don't really work for us. If you're getting paid $1,000 a month, cheap meals means probably instant ramen for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Actually, if you wake up late enough, you can probably skip breakfast and save even more money. I think it was actually good for him that he was stuck out in the middle of nowhere these first 3 years. I think the fact that he was a jet in a cheap city was why he was able to do these kinds of videos in the first place. I think if he was working a normal ALT gig, or even worse, an eikaiwa job, he wouldn't have this chipper attitude. Also, I think the only reason he even met someone like Natsuki is because he was in a small town. Ironically, I think if he had been stationed in a big city like Tokyo, he wouldn't have made any friends. That's one weird thing about Japan. You would think the big cities would be more open to foreigners and it'd be easier to make friends there, but they're not. Unfortunately, Japanese people are Japanese, and Japan doesn't like foreigners, so more people in the big city equals more people who don't want to be your friend. However, in a small town, for instance Kawagoe for me, or wherever the fuck he was at, I already forgot, Yamagata, the less people there are means the less excuses they have to not hang out with you, so it's probably easier to meet up with people in those small towns than in the big city. It's really weird like that. He is also telling the truth about the time frame for Jet. I think max they can work 5 years. I don't know if he knows why this is though. It is because Japan doesn't want foreigners living here long term. They want them in and out, and a new crop of foreigners that doesn't understand anything about Japan to come in and replace the old disillusioned ones. I was never a Jet, but I'm pretty sure this is a lot of people's experience. Year 1. Wow, I can't believe I'm living in Japan. This is so cool. I can't speak the language, but everyone's so friendly to me. Year 2. I'm getting used to living in Japan, but I don't have any friends yet, or a girlfriend. I can kind of talk to people, but still not really doing anything special. The other teachers are still super nice to me, though, but some things kind of annoy me. Year 3. This is my 3rd year, but I don't feel like I'm making any progress. Maybe I have a girlfriend, but still no real friends yet. But at least I'm trying my best to learn the language. Year 4. Okay, I'm not really where I wanted to be in 4 years. Also, why are these people like this? I'm talking to people. I'm getting lines. I message them. And my Japanese is pretty good now. But I feel like people are talking to me less than when I couldn't understand Japanese. I only have 1 more year left of this, so I gotta make it count. Year 5. I want to leave this country so bad. It's not fun anymore. I'm just teaching, then have nothing to do, then it's back to teaching. I'm actually looking forward to teaching because at least my students and coworkers have to talk to me. As far as no progress or no long-term plan, it doesn't feel good as a worker to think about your career and realize that there is literally nothing more you can do, and then realize how hard you're working and that you aren't being compensated for that. I always say every Japan job is worth double what they pay us. The reasons behind that are that the job itself sucks. Also, we have skills that no Japanese person has. Not only with our English ability, but also we're just friendlier and harder workers. If people were paid better, they would think twice before quitting their shitty English job. As someone who will be on his 10th year working in Japan, it hurts to see my Japanese coworkers get promotions and bonuses just for being Japanese, when we get nothing. Just to make things clear, it's actually a rule at my company that foreigners do not get bonuses, and Japanese people do. This is why some of the comments annoy me, because our channel has persisted and persevered over about 10 years of living in Japan. And we have a story behind everything we say. This is why I don't like Abroad in Japan or these other YouTubers. I just think it's a nice country. Okay, well, what's your reasoning behind that? Well, you can do karaoke and you can go to the vending machines. Well, what about me, the worker who gets shit on for no money and deals with terrible children all day, every day? Well, you know what? That doesn't really help me grow my channel of lying, so I don't give a fuck. And this is why our channel is good for people who want to move here. Let me get into the story behind the bonuses. This was a long time ago. I remember it was towards the end of the school year, and the Japanese manager was really pushing us. We got to make this much more money before the school year ends. As a foreign teacher, I was like, why? Who gives a fuck? What does it matter? Then about 2 weeks later, she's like, I have an announcement to make. We reached our goals. Yay! And then she turns to the full-time Japanese teacher and says in Japanese, which means we get a full bonus. And they both stood up and cheered. Yay! Hooray! Hooray! These two pieces of shit don't do any work, by the way. The manager is a fucking psychopath. She is a fucking piece of shit. The full-time Japanese staff didn't do fucking shit all year. Why the fuck does she get a bonus? Why are they celebrating in front of us? When you guys comment, sounds like you're just bitter and jealous. Sounds like you're just greedy. All you care about is money and being served. No, it's just not fucking fair. Do you fuckers living in America, Britain, wherever the fuck, behind your computer, feel good telling people who work super hard for no money and deal with this all day, every day? That's Japanese kids for you. Do you think that's fucking fun to deal with? And then people celebrate when they get paid and you don't? Do you see why I might get annoyed by someone saying, yeah, English teaching, 9 out of 10. Really? 'Cause it fucking sucks. Do you feel bad lying like this? Or do you just not understand reality? Yeah, 9 out of 10. Where? Please, can you fucking explain your reasoning behind anything, you asshole? English teaching, great job, 9 out of 10, amazing. Please explain it. You know what? If you asked me what movies are 9 out of 10, I could probably tell you a fucking handful of movies, and I could explain them. If you asked me what's an album, 9 out of 10, I could fucking explain what songs I liked and what I didn't like. You just go fucking, 9 out of 10, great, amazing, move here, waste your life. I don't care, I'm making YouTube money. He doesn't give a fuck. That's what annoys me. You're bitter and jealous, you're angry at his success. I don't give a fuck if he's successful. I give a fuck that he's just going, yeah, fucking waste your life and move here. And I'm not even a fan of his. I see a lot of people moving here who regurgitate the things they've heard him say, and their fucking lives aren't that good. Now, part of the reason I moved to Japan was because of the amazing reputation it had online. I never watched any of his videos, so I wasn't being fed this information. I had just known about certain things like, oh, it's so clean, or oh, it's so nice, or oh, there's no crime, or blah, blah, blah. I just kind of knew about some of those. Now, when I came here, I realized immediately that that was all wrong, and I changed my outlook to figure out what was real about Japan. These other people that move here, their lives are plateaued. They're stuck at Gaijin English teacher. Or they go out every weekend and do street interviews with people. Do Japanese people have sex? Yes, they do. Do Japanese people have sex? No, they don't. Well, there you have it, folks. Yes and no. I'm walking through the Konbini and filming it. They have chips and beef jerky. And they have Fanta. Do you think maybe if this fucker didn't lie so much or didn't just make things up, that these people will be wasting their lives? Do you think these people will be moving to another country who hates them if they weren't constantly being told, oh, it's great, it's an amazing country, it's such lovely people? My daily life in Tokyo, I'm driving a car around and I'm eating sushi and ramen. Wow, good for you, fucker. Piece of shit. Fuck off, asshole. Fucking lying piece of shit. Stupid fucking fat. My diet and exercise didn't work. Yeah, fuck off, asshole. Dick, fucking, I can't even speak anymore. Fuck, why are you doing this channel? Why do you hate him so much? Fuck off, you fucking asshole, man. It's not like I have reasoning, but yeah, that's another thing. Oh, it's just me. If I just made I'm not even speaking English anymore. I just am so angry about this stupid situation that he has placed on the foreigners. Hey, yeah, just lie, get YouTube money, and then I'll just drive my car around and eat sushi. Yeah, good for you, ass. And while I'm fired up and passionate about this, people complaining about my tone and voice on these videos, I try to be fair and reasonable with this guy. And when I make these, I try to just talk in a normal voice and just explain things and just react to what he says in his videos. I try not to put any emotion into it. Like some other YouTubers who get too upset about what other people do, like that A to Z guy. I wish I didn't have to make these videos, but his fucking channel has persisted for about 12 years now of fucking bullshit. I wish I didn't have to see them on YouTube all the time. Here's LeBron Japan's new lie. Here's his new thing where he's a fucking loser. And then he gets upset that he's not allowed to eat chicken. Gee, I wonder why. It's because you didn't fucking set a foundation for Gaijin to eat chicken outside of a fucking kombini. Yeah, they let me eat chicken at the kombini. Well, you know what? How about you fucking pave the way for us to eat at a restaurant? Yeah, I don't want to. That would involve me actually admitting that I'm a fucking loser and that they don't want me here. Why won't he just put out one video where he's like, listen, even on his separate channel, a pod in Japan, or whatever the fuck it's called. Why doesn't he put out one video where he's like, listen, I don't like it here. They're assholes to me, and that's why I'm so unhappy. I created this channel to goof on them. I thought it was funny to make fun of their poor English. And they didn't take it well, and now they won't let me eat chicken. I really hate it here. But yeah, I wish I could be this passionate in these videos, but I actually don't give a fuck about him. I just want to get the fucking series over with so I can go back to making animations. Something I actually enjoy. But then I see another fucking video. I'm driving around in my small car. How far can I drive? I took a Shinkansen. Yeah, they've been around since, what, the 60s? Who gives a fuck? I rode a Shinkansen up north. I rode a Shinkansen in the west. I'm eating a bento. Look at the thumbnail with my fucking Frankenstein face. What the hell is wrong with his face? I mean, it never looked good, but he's got, like, his wrinkles are fucking out of control. And every fucking thing is a photoshopped fucking train, Mount Fuji. Like, there's nothing real about him. I don't like Logan Paul, and I don't like Mr. Beast. Hey, at least they're not lying about Japan, fucker. Dickbag, fuckface, stupid asshole. I like PewDiePie because he doesn't know shit about Japan, and we can just have a good time together. You don't know shit about Japan either, fucker. And last thing before I get back to the material I already recorded. I don't know if this is true, because I don't watch his stupid fucking videos. But someone said that he was annoyed that all these other YouTubers are just going around filming kombinis, going around filming train stations. If that's true, how dare you get upset about that? You're the one that fucking started this shit. You're the one that fucking started saying the discipline and respect thing. Now, I've never seen anybody cross on a red light. They're just fucking robots here. I'm spouting off stereotypes, and now I'm upset that that's not the reality of the country? Why? Why are people copying my videos? Maybe because you're a fucking douchebag? I really wish I didn't hate this fucker, because I don't, but he is the fucking problem. I swear to God, his channel was not the first to talk positively about Japan, but it is definitely the catalyst of all the fucking bullshit videos we see now. Ooh, got a little carried away there. Alright, let's try to get back into the main video. And then they wonder why everybody keeps quitting. Maybe it's the fucking lack of money and you treat us like dog shit. We gotta look for another English teacher already? That's 3 in 1 year. Well, can you fucking pay us? No. Get the fuck out of it. Well, no, don't get out. Go back to class. It also hurts to see people back home in America doing the same jobs and also receiving promotions, etc. Hell, even at Sam's Club, I got a yearly raise. This job is great. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I actually can't comment on that. Like, really? There's nothing more I can, there's no way I can actually comment on that. What was the one bad thing about it then? Why wasn't it a 10 out of 10? Can you explain that? I don't care about his weight loss journey at all. Who would have guessed snacking all day every day and eating out and drinking tons of alcohol would make me gain weight? However, it annoys me that he puts out a series, Can I Lose Weight in Japan? I'm trying to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks. Can I do it? Stay tuned and find out. But 3 of the 10 weeks he spent back in Britain. Yeah, while on vacation I ate tons of cheese and drank tons of beer, so I gained weight. Why did you make this series if you knew you couldn't do nearly a third of it? One thing he did mention was about how he thought going back to the UK would be bad because of all the bad news. But he went back and it was really good. Yeah, that is the same reason I came to Japan. I was young and I thought America sucks and I've heard nothing but positive things about Japan, so I'll move there. Actually, at the time, I couldn't understand how everyone didn't want to move to Japan. Now I know. And yet people can't stop immigrating to the US. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, he talked about how he was pleasantly surprised at how good the UK was. Every time I go back to America, I think the same thing. I wish I had never been tricked into moving to Japan. This is why I always want to talk about the bad parts about Japan, especially for foreigners, because there are a lot of people who hear that Japan is a great place to live, and they end up wasting a lot of time and money before eventually moving back. That's how you can always tell in the comments when we say something negative about Japan. I'm always like, okay, you don't live here because you don't even understand what I'm talking about. Like, you're just getting angry. I love Japan. That's fair enough. I never said anybody couldn't love Japan. And then you can always tell who is a married, down in the dumps, like loser husband. Hey, it's not all that bad. Like, it's so clear to me who's who. Can you guys actually just try and empathize a little bit? Like, I know you don't live here, but it's like, just hear what I'm saying. Listen to the words that I'm actually saying. No, I won't. I'm just getting triggered. How dare you talk badly about Japan, a country I will never move to. He talks about how the robot restaurant is in downtown Shinjuku in Kabukicho, and how if you're walking through there it can feel a little bit intimidating the first time you go down there, and there's loads of people going, yeah, come in our bar. It's very un-Japanese. I'm sorry, but that's the most Japanese thing ever. This is where I get annoyed that his channel is popular. Because even weebs know that people try to call you into their bars or restaurants. They've probably seen people in anime at least saying, "Irashaimase." At this point, Abron Japan has been in Japan for 2.5 years, and he still doesn't understand anything about Japan. I was actually shocked to hear him say that. He says a lot of things that kind of surprised me by his lack of understanding, but this was one time I was like, what are you talking about? That's literally, like, culturally one of the most Japanese things there is. Also, what does it mean to be un-Japanese? Is his concept of Japanese people only women in kimonos doing tea ceremonies? Japanese people do the same thing too. I remember this Japanese guy I worked with was in a Zoom meeting with us, and he said he liked the new foreign teacher because she was polite, like a Japanese person, which was actually a very rude thing to say. This next thing I didn't write down earlier because I thought it was kind of boring. Actually, I was getting worried in the first 5 minutes of this Q&A because the way he was talking about Japanese schools, I was like, this is what you tell people Japan is like your first 2 or 3 months living here. But he said that at school the teachers are more reserved or shy to speak English with him. But then at the work parties everyone is drinking and having a good time and more talkative. Yeah, 'cause it's a party. Yeah, when Japanese people drink alcohol, they become more sociable. Oh shit, really? How's that unique to Japan? Yeah, when we're at school, people who don't speak English don't want to talk to me, but then when everyone's liquored up and having fun, they do. Does he know that if you drink alcohol, it can give you the confidence to talk to pretty women too? He also talked about how he didn't really go out or speak Japanese for like 2 years. This is actually really weird. Japan is known to be a country where people go out and have a good time. Also, he has all these how to learn Japanese videos, but doesn't use Japanese. Here's 9 easy ways to learn Japanese. Well, maybe. I don't actually use it. This video was 2.5 years into his life in Japan, and it seems to me that even 2.5 years deep, that he hasn't had a real Japanese experience. Seeing these YouTubers talk about Japan, I get the feeling they are just long-term tourists. Man, the maid cafes are great. Yeah, that's what a tourist would say. I've been to 3 maid cafes. Not once was I happy to be there. They're really not fun. The appeal is literally just going, well, this isn't in America, so I like it. Anyways, he says the people trying to call you into their restaurants in Shinjuku don't feel Japanese. And his friend Regan says, even in Nagoya they do this. Then he completely dismisses him and says, yeah, it's weird. It doesn't feel right to happen in Japan. How is this guy qualified to have a Q&A about Japan? This is where I was so happy to finally find a video I was looking for to kind of explain his channel to people and why I don't like it. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Then someone says, no, that's quite normal. And then he goes, yeah, well, I'm not listening, so I'm just going to keep thinking the same way. It's really shocking to hear him talk like this. Because in his actual videos, they're edited down. But this is like literally question and answer, and he's like saying really bizarre shit. This is his 30-second video about being abroad in Japan. Yet he still only has a basic internet understanding of Japan. I've said on our channel, for me teaching English as an ALT in a small town like he was in, like 3 months in, I was already like, what's going on? This isn't what I was told Japan would be like at all. I can see in 2025, possibly 12 years into his life in Japan, he still puts out these basic videos. I'm driving a small car. If you don't believe me, that was literally his last video, so. Which is like, I thought you already did that. Oh, it's been a couple years. I gotta drive the car again. Okay. Me and my friend Natsuki are driving to Fukushima. We're doing Fukuoka to Fukushima on 1 tank of gas. That might be kind of interesting. Why doesn't he do shit like that? We ran out of gas. Natsuki, get out and push. Oh, I become gasoline. Man, your channel could be so much better. You squander. This is why I don't like it. You squander all your good opportunities. You guys got to give us money so we can put out good quality videos like pushing a car from Fukuoka to Fukushima. Give us some money now. Is there anything about him that goes, maybe I should say something real about Japan? Japan already is starting to get a bad reputation, mainly because it's hard for foreign guys to get the pussy they think they deserve. But it's getting the reputation. Getting 0 pussy is a big step down from, oh man, it's great. It's like being a rock star here. You just walk outside, all these hot girls want to suck your dick. He says the reason he moved to Japan was because a couple next to him on a plane ride to Switzerland said their daughter is in the JET program and she loves it. That's how they always get you. That just shows me that he really didn't have a plan in life. That was kind of what I was doing too. Hey, I'm going to Switzerland. What are you guys up to? Oh, our daughter lives in Japan. Oh, I might try that out. Got nothing going for me anyways. Also, in case you don't know this, I don't even think he knows this. The 2 main reasons him, abroad in Japan, were accepted into the JET program were because you didn't speak Japanese and you had no real interest in Japan. It's all starting to make sense to me. He is actually the perfect JET. He can't speak Japanese and isn't very curious. His channel is the greatest marketing tool for Japan to recruit people just like him. Basically, suckers will see his videos, come here, Japan will squeeze the life and money out of them, and then they'll go home 1 to 5 years later. Wow, I never knew he was a pawn like this. I always thought he was a Japan shill to get out of English teaching, but he was actually being used by Japan? That's interesting. He says, I knew that when I came to Japan, I was going to try to study Japanese and become as fluent as I could. Yep. That's everyone who comes here. What's your favorite thing and least favorite thing about the Japanese language? It's grammatically quite simple in many ways. Yeah, that's true. Although I think in a later video he claimed Japanese was the hardest language. So I guess he's regressed a bit. Okay. Worst part is kanji. I guess I would agree with this, only because there aren't that many difficult things about Japanese. To me, it's not the language that's difficult, it's the people. How are you supposed to learn a language when the only people who speak it don't want you learning it and refuse to speak to you? And actually, I would say the hardest thing about Japanese isn't the kanji, it's the slang words. Because when you're reading even a shonen manga, which I guess makes sense that there would be slang in it, some katakana words, I'm like, I have zero reference for this. And Google's a little better now, but back in the day, Google, anything katakana, it was like, just here's how you would pronounce this in English. There was no translation for anything like that. How long will you stay in Japan? My plan is to go full-time making videos. When does this Regan guy get to talk? Like, I know this is Abroad in Japan's video, but it would be nice if it was more of a dialogue than him just answering Q&A. Like, he could have done that by himself. So it's like, maybe incorporate Regan a little more to make the video a little better. How long will you stay in Japan? My plan is to go full-time making videos on Abroad in Japan. I want to stay in Japan a bit longer and have a really good YouTube channel about Japan. The #1 channel about Japan, whatever this means. I want to teach people about the things I've learned along the way. First of all, congratulations on going full-time making videos on Abroad in Japan. You have successfully done that. Also, congratulations on staying in Japan a bit longer. And have a really good YouTube channel about Japan. When do you plan on doing that? The #1 channel about Japan. I'm 32 videos deep and casually aware of some other videos. But I don't think he's going to accomplish that. He's actually #2. We're #1, and the rest of the Japanese YouTubers are so bad that Abroad in Japan automatically gets the #2 spot. When did you realize you could speak Japanese and hold a conversation since beginner level? About 12 months, maybe? Bullshit. He says after 4 months of studying, he still couldn't speak Japanese. Yeah, no shit. Man, I can't bench press 300 pounds. I've been working out for 4 months now. Then he was at a dinner party, and there was a beautiful girl he wanted to talk to, but couldn't. Everyone is here for the women, but they always say they're here for the culture. But then, once you actually ask them, it's like, oh, I was trying to talk to a girl. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Japanese people must be so confused when we say we're here for the culture. Why did you move to Japan? The culture? Really? What do you mean by that? I mean, the honest answer is pussy, and that always gets a laugh when you actually straight up tell people that. But I'm actually not here for the pussy. I mean, it is nice when you can get it once a quarter. But, and by quarter, I mean quarter of a century. But I'm actually here to study the fucking language. That's the reason I moved to Japan. You can get Japanese pussy in America. It's actually a lot easier. 'Cause they're sad and lonely. That's the key to that. Oh, my family's not here. Well, I'll fuck you. That came out wrong. See, we're such a funny channel. Yeah, but I'm actually here to learn the language. But Japan just sucks the life out of you fucking teaching English, which he said was great. He said 9 out of 10. That you cannot actually learn the language when you're not teaching. You're actually too tired, and you begin to hate the country, and the country represents the people, the language, anime. You fucking hate it all. And you gotta get past that, but to get past that, it takes a good couple of years. And then you go, well, I could have been studying Japanese for 3 years, but I was depressed, and I hated everything, so I didn't. But I wish I had. That's why I always say learn as much as possible while you're still in America. So for him, why did you really start learning Japanese? Well, there was this girl. He says after that moment it took him another 4 to 5 months to feel like he could hold conversations in Japanese. I know this isn't true because I studied Japanese in college. Then I traveled to Japan. And then I studied abroad in Japan for a year. And then I went back to America and got a Japanese girlfriend. The only reason that's significant is because of the consistent practice I was getting talking to her every day. And it wasn't until here where I thought I could really hold a conversation in Japanese. So in total, that was about 3 years. But he's saying you can do it in a couple months? And a couple months of where he was actually trying. That just shows you how powerful pussy really is. Yeah, but you can have that eureka moment in about a year if you study hard. Eureka moment. Maybe he means just understanding things past basic textbook greetings and phrases? I wish he would explain things better. Like on our channel, we always give clear examples of what we're talking about. We happen to be intoxicated, so they don't always come out the best, but we always give the examples. I wish he would have said my eureka moment was going to a restaurant, they spoke to me in Japanese, and I understood, or something to let me know what he means by that. But I guess this Regan guy really didn't push him to explain anything, so it's all on you, buddy. He goes on to say that things got really interesting in about 2 years. Things got really interesting. What do you mean by this? How did things get really interesting after studying Japanese for 2 years? Did you finally get to fuck that girl and she took her clothes off and she was a man the whole time? Her penis is a swinger. That's really interesting. My problem is I didn't have the confidence to go out and talk. In an earlier video, you said you hate it when people tell you to go out and try to use your Japanese. It seems I was right. In my video, I said that it sounds like he had a bad experience speaking Japanese, and now I know that he did, and it was about a girl. They talk about how Japanese people don't understand sarcasm. I know that's like a Japan stereotype or something. I think to some extent that's true. I think it's more that they don't understand our style of humor, but that's the same of Japanese humor for me. I don't understand how shouting and saying the same phrases over and over again is funny. That's one reason I can't stand shonen humor. Just shouting baka or oji-san or hage to me isn't funny. You have to, say things that are funny. Just shouting these words means nothing to me. Also, one thing I can't stand in Japanese humor is when the character explains the joke. Sometimes anime will make me laugh. But then, some character will say something like, "You should be able to read the air," or "You're stupid." To me, that ruins a perfectly good joke. Also, on a side note, every manga is basically the same. Goku says something stupid, then Bulma hits him on the head. Naruto says something stupid, then Sakura hits him on the head. Ichigo says something stupid, then Rukia hits him on the head. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ouch! Favorite part of Japanese culture. What a dumb... I'm so sick of hearing the phrase Japanese culture. Favorite part of Japanese culture. He says the trains are always on time and everything works. My train today was late, by the way, but I digress. He talks about how him and Natsuki's wife, Gloria, went to the UK and the machines weren't reading the rail passes. So they asked the station attendant why. And his response was, "Well, that's just London, isn't it?" Now, that's a funny story. I actually really liked hearing that. That's kind of funny. But that's exactly what Japanese people say when things don't work here. You told me to apply for a credit card. I said I want one, but I don't want to be denied again. Why would we deny you? Okay, fine, I'll sign up. 2 weeks later, sorry, sir, you were denied. Go back to the store. Why was I denied? You told me to sign up, and that I wouldn't be denied. Don't know. Well, is there any way for me to get one? Don't know. Is there anyone we can call about this? That's when Japanese people get really annoyed. Anytime you want them to do their job, it's like, you're really trying me, Gaijin. You're really trying me. You can always see on their faces like, oh, I gotta work now? No. My job is to say the no phrase and then you leave. My job is to tell you you can get a credit card, and then when you don't get it, I have no backup to that. And about things always working in Japan, but they don't work so good in other countries. This happened a long time ago. My dad came to visit me, and he was using his credit card to buy something. And I said, "Oh, aren't the credit card machines here so good?" He's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Oh, it processed it real good, and we got out really quickly." And he was like, "What do you mean by that?" I'm like, oh, I think at Sam's Club when I worked there, sometimes the machines didn't work so good, but like the machines in Japan, they work so good, right? And he was like, I've never really had a problem with using my credit card in America. Now that's the normal response to that. The average person really doesn't have these problems. It's these weirdos, me included sometimes, at least back in the day, thinking that Japan is so much better than it is back home. But then you ask the average person back home and they're like, what are you talking about? And now that I use credit cards a lot more in Japan, I used to always use cash. And you know what, even further back in the day, they really didn't have credit cards. Well, they still don't really have them, so I guess you could say things don't always run smoothly in Japan, when they still don't use technology we've had for decades. But now that I'm using credit cards more in Japan, same problems happen. The machines don't always read them. Sometimes you get errors. But that's just Japan, isn't it? But the Japanese workers never, like, level with you. They're always just like, oh, what can I? Can you just pay with cash? Like, why? If I want to pay with a card, can you just get the fucking machine to work? It's not working. The thing about the trains being on time, actually, I'm getting really sick of that too. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Yeah, they are for the most part, but there are often delays too, especially on Japan Rail. And if you talk to Japanese people, they'll be like, yeah, this line is always delayed. Yeah, this line always has suicides. Like, they know what's up, but foreigners can't understand anything. All they know is go to Tokyo, go to Osaka, go to Hiroshima. The trains, they worked. I've never been to Europe, so I can't comment on the train situation there. I've been to New York twice. I rode the trains there, but I don't really remember them. And I didn't know I was supposed to compare and contrast them with Japanese trains 10 years later. But every time I look online, New Yorkers seem to be very proud of their subway system, so I guess it's good. The only thing I remember was, compared to Japan, the New York trains were very cheap. Japanese trains are so expensive, these companies have to pay you a commuting fee to go to work. If they didn't, I don't think anybody could afford to go to their job. Listen, here's my thing about the trains. If you're riding the subway like 5 stations away, they're fine. But if you're trying to do anything, let's say go to the beach, that shit adds up and you go like, it wasn't that nice. They're not that comfortable. They're clean though. Yeah, well, they're not comfortable. They're full of people. Full of Japanese people. And it's like, to get anywhere is like, go 2 stations down, get out, drag your luggage up or down another flight of stairs, go to another train station, go 5 stops down, then transfer, go around to another line, and then go all the way down to the end of the line, which is about 30 minutes. This is not the best system. It works technically, just it's not comfortable. I think the reason everything works in Japan, which they don't, but let's say that they do for this segment, is because Japan waits until another country invents something. Let's just say America. I hate saying the West. Let's just say America to keep it easy. It's because Japan waits until another country invents something and approves upon it till it's 95% done. Then they take it, add an extra 5% and make it Japanese. Let's take America. They are constantly inventing new things, then improving upon them. If it's good, it stays. If it's bad, you work to make it better. Eventually, someone else invents a better version, making all those other ones obsolete. Now you have to get rid of them and install the newer, better version until that's made obsolete. Japan, on the other hand, goes, there's a new invention, that's not Japanese, and we don't need it. Now it's perfected? Okay, we'll take it and call it Japanese, and it's integral to Japanese society. And we invented it, because it's got a Japanese name now. Also, Japan only does things Japanese. Like you said earlier in this video, when you went back to the UK, there was a great deal of diversity. Japan makes Japanese things for Japanese people to be and feel Japanese. They don't care if something appeals to North Americans, South Americans, Europeans, Asians, Africans, or Australians. Things work here because they only have to work here. I understand why that would be appealing to many non-Japanese people. But some of you people take the trains running mostly on time to mean that Japan is a perfect society. Regan says everyone is really particular and on time with everything, and you can see it in the society as well. Then Abroad in Japan says it has to do with the collectivism of the Japanese society. See, like, he just looks things up online and goes, collectivism. I actually don't know what Regan meant by this. I hate it when foreigners talk about Japanese people as if they're just one guy. Japanese people are so particular. You do know there's 125 million people here. And you do know that they're all very different. I've traveled to Japan, I've studied abroad in Japan, I've worked in Japan. I haven't met two people who are the same. This is just one of those foreigner takes where it's like, Japanese people are like this. Because that's kind of what makes me feel comfortable when I think about them. It's kind of like what we were joking about a long time ago, like, all Japanese men are just businessmen, wearing suits, and they're so polite, and they're so kind, and all they do is want to serve. But all the women are very different. It's kind of like when Japanese people say, like, oh, Japanese people are so shy. And you're like, there's a lot of Americans that are very shy too. No, we're more shy than you. And then you meet Japanese people who are very outgoing and very loud, and you're like, what happened to all that shyness? Yes, but Americans are more loud than Japanese because that's what America's all about. See, you can't just claim one culture, one country is just one thing. Like, 125 million people, there's going to be differences in everybody, especially from city to city. But this is where this Q&A to me is kind of bullshit. Like, you're talking about Japanese people as if it's just one guy that you can point to. Japan's quiet, Japan's shy, Japan's awkward, Japan loves anime, Japan loves baseball. Japanese people are all very particular, and you can see it in the society. What does that mean? Australians like to go surfing with dingoes and koalas. That's just one kooky guy. No, every Australian likes to go surfing with dingoes and koalas. I've seen it on TV. That didn't actually happen, but that's kind of what you're saying right here. And let me just explain why this annoys me. It's not the fact that it's just wrong or stereotyping them. It's the fact that it's wrong and they don't give a fuck, and it eventually affects me. Well, what's wrong with them just promoting the trains? I mean, the trains are pretty good here. Yeah, this was also 10 years ago. 10 years later, the fucking crazy pro-Japan people came out and are just online. Japan, 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 Japan. This is what I mean by it affects me. Me being both me personally and me as the gaijin worker forced to work at a eikaiwa. If it was just like 10 people like, yeah, I like the trains, they're okay. Wasn't on time, but, I eventually got to my hotel. Oh, it was really crowded and loud, but, I guess it's fine. Then it wouldn't be a problem. But then you get to the cause and effect of what this video has done. Not this one specifically, these kinds of videos. And we're now in the crazy era, where you're not even allowed to tell the truth about Japan without people freaking out and getting mad at you. There's people that get mad at our channel for filming trash. But what about America? At no point did I say I was comparing and contrasting Japan and America. I'm only trying to point out that when you people say, yeah, it's a clean place, and then I say, no, it's not, that is also the reality of Japan. And let me apologize for the tangents. I am sorry. I know this video is already way too long, especially about a topic that doesn't matter. But they go from talking about nothing to just spouting off lies / I think it's more like they just don't understand or not critically thinking about any topic and just going, it looks like it's a nice place. Let me just talk as if I'm an expert on it. Although you should be. Okay, I gotta stop it here because I'll just keep ranting. Listen, I'm sorry. I have to cover what they say in the video. And that sometimes leads to me rambling about this, that, or the other. And I really wish I didn't have to do it, but I'm gonna stop ranting here and just get back to the video. The only time you could say they are the same is the weird things they are taught to say to foreigners. I thought Japan was the only country with pollen allergies. And does America have trees? Are the two most recent things I've heard. But other than asking foreigners, where are you from? Or, why you come to Japan? They don't act the same. And I don't understand what everyone is very particular means. Like Japanese people want things to be neat and orderly? If you think that's the case, then you must have never worked with a Japanese person or lived with one. And on time with everything. On time with what? Does he mean coming to work? Because it's like the trains thing. Yeah, in general, most people come to work on time. But when it comes to actually doing their job, it's like, it'll get done when I give a fuck. And you can see in the society as well. See what? Particular things? This is such a vague thing to say that it really doesn't mean anything. And you could see it in the society. Okay? Also, as I'm making this video, it is funny to me that foreigners spend so much time trying to figure out Japan. It's like a nature documentary studying some rare Amazon tree frog. How does it know to climb this specific tree to look for a mate? How do Japanese people all manage to get to work on time? You can see it in their society. The Japanese salaryman gets off work at 5 p.m. and goes drinking with his coworkers as a social ritual. Fascinating. What Abroad Japan said is just plain wrong. There is no collectivism in Japanese society. They actually don't like each other. Maybe he means like the greetings and work stuff they do. Who the fuck knows? He just says things and then doesn't explain them. Why do the trains run on time? Collectivism. He says everyone in Japan, their job is kind of their identity. It's not like they're working part-time at the store. It's like, I am that job. That is who I am. And if something goes wrong, I am wholly accountable for that. That is me. I wrote in my notes, first of all, this answer borders on being racist. But now that I'm reading it, I'm like, no, it is just straight up racist. Actually, as I'm typing up my notes, I'm going to have to take this one comment in many different directions, so please bear with me. And as I'm recording it now, I'm like, it feels really wrong to actually say that. He is just straight up wrong. The Japanese people's jobs are their identity. I guess that's why he said kind of, but he's still wrong. I don't know anyone here whose identity is their job. In fact, it's usually the opposite. Other than teaching people English for their job, which is what they're paying for, most people I've met don't talk about their jobs that much. The only people you could possibly say that about is people who own a local restaurant, because they have to run it 6 days a week to make a profit. It's not like they're working part-time at the stores. It's like, I am the job. Who? Japanese people don't even think this. The part-time staff at my job isn't good, and to be honest, the full-time staff isn't much better. And even part-time staff at restaurants, konbinis, supermarkets, even Don Quixote isn't good a lot of the time. No one here identifies as their job. Do you really think the part-time McDonald's employee is really going home after work and going, I identify as a fry man? Yeah, that's when you go to Tinder and you don't see pictures of people, you just see pictures of where they work. Just scrolling through Tinder, yeah, all I see is convenience store food. See, this is why I have to do this series, and this is why I'm glad I found this video. Because if no one ever called him out for bullshit like this, he would just keep getting away with it, as he had been for 12 years. And now I'm going, it's shocking to me none of his fans were like, did you say that Japanese people identified as their job? That's really fucked up. This is where he annoys me. He just makes shit up. And then these fucking people watch it and go like, oh yeah, Japanese people, they just identify as their job. They're just not real humans. And then I try to explain how that's fucked up to say, and people get mad at me. If something goes wrong, I am wholly accountable for that. This is where he just makes things up. Japanese people never accept responsibility for their actions. In fact, they have a phrase, moshiwake arimasen, which means there's no excuse for my actions. It's like a get-out-of-jail-free card. From what I've seen, they're never held accountable for their mistakes and always blame other people when there is a problem or a mistake at work, whether that be their coworkers, boss, or in my case, just gaijin. It's not my fault I didn't do my job, it was the gaijin. Really? While I was teaching English, you didn't do your paperwork and that was my fault? Sometimes when I read the angry comments about these videos, I laugh. Sometimes I'm just confused. Sometimes I can tell that the person writing it is going through some personal problems. Most people just say that I'm jealous of his success, which I'm not. Which I say in every video, so maybe you guys should start listening. But when I say things like, I don't like it when he lies or makes things up about Japan, nobody ever acknowledges that. This whole question, both of them were just talking out of their asses. Which is why I'm doing this series. I do not like people lying about Japan. Well, why are you mad that he's successful? Once again, I don't give a fuck if he's successful. But I still have to live here. And I still have to teach English. Which he said was 9 out of 10. Why is this acceptable? Why do we allow him to just go like, yeah, it's great. 9 out of 10. Are you still teaching English? No. No. Got out of that real soon. He didn't even do the full 5 years. He only did 3 apparently, according to this. Man, it's a 9 out of 10 job. Can't wait to quit. Now let's get back to the racism. If you actually said this to a Japanese person, I think they would really get offended, or they might actually agree with you, because a lot of times they just go along with what foreigners say, because they don't actually know what you're talking about, or they don't want to talk to you. On our channel we have a phrase called NBA, Natural British Arrogance. It could be anyone, but I see it a lot with British people, and the acronym works, so I'm going to use it. It's where they think so highly of themselves that they put other cultures down with what they say. For instance, you hear this a lot from foreigners. Japan is a great country, but you need to learn how to do work better. Your country is far behind us when it comes to work culture. You need to be more like us and not work so much. Japanese people work too much and it's killing you. I don't want you to die. It's killing you. I get secondhand embarrassment when I see this shit. This is a real person, by the way, that I'm mimicking. This is where these stereotypes about Japan become harmful. Because his an extra 10 minutes after work was not working too hard. She was working too hard as a foreigner. But he stays an extra 10 minutes after work's over, and I go home on time. Who cares? He didn't do any work all day. You did. He didn't teach 9 classes on Saturday. He sat in his chair and just kind of answered phone calls and emails. Also, this guy too, this Japanese guy, he's also real. He didn't do any work because we didn't know where he was half the time. I remember talking to the manager, I'm like, where's Shotaro? She's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, he didn't tell me, he just kind of left. I wouldn't call this being overworked. I would call this slacking off. At no point, as a foreigner working in Eikaiwa, can you just disappear for a couple hours? Where's Chris? He missed like 5 classes. I don't know. In fact, why isn't the stereotype foreigners work hard in Japan? Why isn't the stereotype if you come to Japan, you'll be working your ass off. You'll be dying from overwork. There were a couple times actually when I was at work where I was like, I think I am dying, but I got like 5 more classes. And the fact that you look at Japanese people, nobody's complaining. They all seem pretty content with doing their work. It must not be that bad then. We've talked about this a little before. It's called infantilization. It's when, let's just say white people, because that's who was doing it in all those books I was forced to read in school, treat other cultures as if they're infants who don't understand anything. And they talk down to them like they can't comprehend how great we are and how much better we are than them. As far as work culture goes, this is one area where I think foreigners can't read the air, as they say in Japan. I think most foreigners like abroad in Japan, and probably a lot of people watching his videos, have such a broad understanding of Japan that they actually don't know anything about Japan. Some things I hear foreigners say about Japanese work culture, I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what happens when you have a facile understanding of a country or a race of people. Let's call it bullet point knowledge. Japanese people, they work, they wear suits, they do overtime, they're on time, they die from overwork. This is ignoring the fact that they are actual people. Or you could just say Japanese people don't have an identity other than their job. Then he praises the service quality in Japan. He said when he bought his phone, the lady was on her knees like it was giving a sword to an emperor. I was not there when he bought his phone, but I know for a fact that this did not happen. First of all, even buying a phone as a foreigner is hard. Even getting a new one at the service provider you've been going to for years is impossible if your visa is about to expire. Listen, my visa expires in 364 days. Can I get the phone? Sorry, this is a year contract. This is a problem I have with Abroad Japan's use of hyperbole. Some of these weirdos might think that Japanese workers literally get down on their hands and knees to provide service to the customers, when in reality, he was probably like, can I get this phone? Okay, can you fill out all this paperwork? Sure. Then about an hour later, here's your phone. Okay, thanks. All right. Seriously though, she was on her knees giving me my phone. Why would you say this? This is also like racist territory. Like, what is she, a fucking dog? Oh, thank you for buying this phone from us. I can't wait to get down on my knees to serve your highness. This is why I call it NBA, natural British arrogance. Because there's something about them where it's like, these lower beings are treating me like an emperor. This is another thing where it's like foreigners really don't understand Japan. Like, a Japanese person would never think this. Japanese people think the service here is great. They think the service is at least better than every other country because they think they're better than every other country. They really are the England of Asia. But honestly, I think Japanese people don't like the service a lot of the time, especially when buying a phone. And I see a lot of people that look really upset with how little they care about the customers here. But foreigners never pick up on that. They just go like, oh, they're so polite. That's all I can understand. But a Japanese person who actually lives here and lives in society is going like, ugh, this stupid shit doesn't fucking work. I gotta deal with the fucking customer service. They don't care. They don't even want to do their job. They're not really helping me. They just give me the, moshi wa arimasen, and then I gotta go home empty-handed. Then Regan talks about how Australian service is great too, because they're friendlier and will have a chat with even strangers. And Abroad in Japan has no comment about this. I have so many examples of bad Japanese service, and we've talked about it so much on our channel that I don't feel like doing it again here. Also, with the Regan thing, like, oh, Australian service is good too. People probably freaked out about that. No, Japanese service is better. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't always have to be a competition. I actually have a funny Australia story. When I was a kid, I went to Australia, and the service was really good there. But the one time we went to like a Wendy's or something, I ordered a cheeseburger or something like that with pickle only. And they gave me a cheeseburger with everything but pickles. I was so disappointed, and I think I ate it, but like at the time I was super picky. But to me, that's a funny story. I didn't go back to America and go, man, I hated the service in Australia. They couldn't get my order right. I went back and I was like, yeah, this was really funny. It's the exact opposite of what I ordered. Also, there was only one incident. I don't base my entire Australian experience on that one time. But I feel like a lot of people that come to Japan go, I ate here about 4 days. No problems. That must be how it always is over the entire country, all day, every shop you go into. Then Abroad in Japan says you'll call the restaurant worker over and they'll fulfill your every demand. Who? Japanese restaurants don't even like to add or remove items or give you refills on your drink. Does he mean if you order more food, they'll bring it to you? What restaurant was he going to where he ordered and they didn't give him food? Also, Japanese restaurants have a habit of giving you food you didn't order, so maybe that's why he was thinking that. Like, man, they knew I was going to eat more and they just put it on my bill. That could have been the case. They'll fulfill your every demand. I'd like a hamburger. Okay, will that be all? Yes, thank you. Here's your hamburger. Thank you. Also, give me your car. Okay. What does he mean? But this is the arrogance thing. You call them over and they'll give you your every demand. It's literally just ordering food at a restaurant. And they don't give you every demand. Fucking try buying furniture. It's a fucking pain in the ass. I'm going to have to pay money to get it delivered, but if I'm available all day, every day, you'll deliver it for free? Well, those are the rules. Yeah, that's just Japan, isn't it? Abroad in Japan says so many things that are hypocritical, but I'm not sure he even knows it. He talks about going back to the UK and how it was nice talking to the lady at the store, then complains that in the UK it's annoying because they talk so much to the customers. You just said that you liked this. He does this so much. I'm losing so much weight. I'm gaining so much weight. Don't use your Japanese too soon. You should really try using Japanese as soon as possible. I liked it in the UK the worker was talking to me. I hate it in the UK. They talk too much to the customers. Why should I believe anything he says now? How is life in Japan? Oh, it's great. Really? Japan's great? No, I hate it here. Also, I've noticed this Regan guy does bring up a couple interesting points about Japan. For instance, he says, have you noticed in an izakaya, if it's empty, the staff will hover around your table and stare at you? Abroad Japan is just like, no. I think he's just not that perceptive. He then talks about something completely different. He is talking about how they opened up a new Starbucks in the small town he's in. He says it's like the miracle of North Japan. People come from far and wide to the Starbucks open. But yeah, I haven't gone in it yet. What does that have to do with the staff at an empty izakaya? Regan even looked a little annoyed that he interrupted him and then went on to talk about something completely different. And it wasn't even a topic worth bringing up. Yeah, they opened up a new Starbucks, but I haven't gone in. This is something I noticed when watching this segment. Abroad Japan doesn't notice anything real about Japan, but anything mundane like opening a Starbucks and it being popular, he has this grand story for. I can see why he liked living in Japan with this outlook. Man, English teaching is incredible. Did you hear about the Japanese guy killing his girlfriend? No. And there's no cheese in Japan. I can see why his channel appeals to these pro-Japan people. Japan has vending machines. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's what I want to see. I want to hear more about vending machines. They also have convenience stores where you can buy sandwiches. Wow, that's incredible. What a great country. Then these people spend thousands of dollars, fly to Japan, eat an onigiri, and feel good for about a week and go home. Let me see if I can describe onigiri like Abroad Japan would. When most people think of pyramids, they think of ancient Egypt. Show clip of the mummy and put in silly sound effect. But far on the other side of the world is the island of Japan. Misspells Japan on the screen. These people took the simple concept of a pyramid and applied it to rice. And just like the mummies of Egypt, they wrap this rice in seaweed. Puts seaweed is called nori in Japanese at the bottom of the screen. And inside this tasty treat, there's an actual mummy. Bites into the convenience store bought onigiri and shows a close-up of it. Then back to him talking to the camera. Only this mummy was shrimp and mayonnaise. And this delicious treat can be eaten for only 237 yen, or the annual GDP of North Korea. Chinese gong sound. He's right about how tired you'll be from teaching English. It's hard to make YouTube videos when you're tired from teaching these bastards. Actually, it's just tiring talking to Japanese people at all. I think that's why all these Japan YouTube channels are only street interviews or filming convenience stores. Also the fact that they have no friends to make videos with. But yeah, it's like, man, gotta plan out a video idea and then write a script and then go out and film it. I could just interview, what do you think about sex? Oh, I don't like. What do you think about sex? Oh, I love. Yeah, okay. That'll get clicks, right? I'm filming another convenience store. We've seen him already. And there's still people doing this. And there's still people watching these videos 10 years down the line. Oh my God, the convenience stores have snacks and drinks. oh my God, I gotta go there and eat these chips. You can probably order Japanese chips online, by the way. He says I will finish teaching on JET in August, but that he still plans to live in Japan, possibly on a work holiday visa like Regan has got. I don't think Americans can do that. And to get a permanent visa, you have to live here for like 10 years. So he's lucky he only had to teach for 3 years. I want to be on a work holiday visa. What do? Just make crappy videos? You're not going to try and have sex with our women, are you? Can't even speak the language. Okay then. In conclusion, I had done a conclusion for this already. Then I went back and edited it, and it was just not good. It was a lot of me going like, and I actually don't feel that way now. So here's my new conclusion. 1, I am going to take a break with these videos. I actually don't like doing them, and I want to go back to the fun videos. I want to go back to the animations. I want to go back to just having fun with this channel and putting out good content that I actually want to watch. I do enjoy making fun of Abroad Japan every now and again because he just makes it so easy. For instance, he's doing another biking thing and his gut is just hanging out. And I'm like, what happened to diet and exercise? What happened to intermittent fasting? Also, I think it is funny that he does all these stupid biking videos when he could literally just put out a video that says, man, Japan fucking sucks. I'd rather fucking go biking than talk about anything real. He doesn't even use it as an excuse to talk about real things like, I'm in so much pain from biking. Almost as much pain as that girl was when that guy stabbed her to death. Man, my legs are burning from all this biking. Same like the local girls' bar. This is why I can't stop it. I gotta goof on his dumbass. I just wish he wasn't so goddamn lame. Lame. Like the Japanese guy who got his legs broken for being in a Yakuza scuffle. But it's taking up too much of my precious time to make these videos. And I'm not even feeling that passionate about him anymore. 2. About his channel. I have just come to the conclusion while editing this that it is just not good. He is not a very curious person. He doesn't know anything about Japan. Or possibly does. We'll never know. He'll never put out a video saying, like, this is what I've actually learned. He puts out a lot of videos skirting around what he's learned. Or puts out videos that are just like, just trying to get my paycheck. The most recent one was, I'm driving a small car. And now that I'm editing this video, the most recent one was, here's some cheap restaurants that everybody already knows about. Have you guys heard of Yoshinoya? Have you heard of Gusto? Yeah, I have. It's really weird to me that he put out this cheap Japanese restaurants video this late into his YouTube career. It seems like a video he would have put out like maybe year 1 or year 2 or year 3, but he's like 12 years deep. Why put it out now? Other than just gotta get this little pocket of money from YouTube views. 3. I've grown to not care about his channel at all. I actually just don't give a fuck that he puts out these terrible videos. And that he doesn't give a fuck about, I guess, anything really. Other than, got another bucket of fried chicken. But I'd originally started this series because him, and to a way lesser degree, way lesser, Trash Taste, are kind of the gatekeepers of the Japan YouTube community. And it has always annoyed me that they are, because they don't talk about anything real about Japan. And they don't seem like they're very bright people. I think they're just smart enough to film things and then get happy about them for dumb people to enjoy. And for him, I believe he is the sole reason foreigners in general move to Japan. And for him specifically, he is the original guy talking about how great life is in Japan, talking about how amazing it is here, tricking people into moving here, tricking people into working here, apparently saying English teaching is a 9 out of 10. I would say it's closer to shit out of shit. But then again, my opinion doesn't count because we get less views. So with this series, originally I wanted to kind of deconstruct what he says about Japan, give my input and critique what he says and tell you what it's really like here. Now I don't give a fuck, because I always see comments, go touch grass, you're salty, why are you so hateful? Despite me explaining in every video why I'm like this. Explaining that I do not like people lying about Japan, or in his case, that we learned in this video, not understanding anything about Japan and just running his goddamn mouth. And through this series, I've come to the conclusion that nobody really cares about Japan. They only want to see things that make them feel happy inside. Despite Japan being a country That is not that fucking happy. Why don't you fucking read the news? Go to NHK. Another beheading? Another poisoning? Another stabbing of a child? Another rape of a child? Another burning down of a girls' bar? Another burning down of a girls' bar? Another burning down of a girls' bar? I abandoned my child and it died. I put my child in a box and it died. I killed my child and it died. I raped and killed my child. I'm sorry, YouTube. I raped and killed my child and then I set it on fire and it died. And I went and played pachinko and I came back and it was still dead. And its flaming corpse burned down my apartment. And why am I in prison? I'm just a terrible mother. So to wrap this video up, I think I will come back to this series eventually. I don't necessarily want to, but nobody else calls him out for his shit. And I used to think it was lying, but now, once again, I've come to the conclusion that he just says things that pop into his head. And stupid foreigners living in America, Australia, Britain, wherever the fuck, hear it and they think he's telling the truth. They don't understand that he is just talking out of his ass. And one last thing before I wrap this video up. I am actually a little disappointed in him for just refusing to say anything real about Japan. I know he's not a deep guy. I know he doesn't give a fuck, but for fuck's sake, you have nothing to say? How are you the gatekeeper and you have nothing of value to say? And don't make me bring up Trash Taste, because they literally have zero value. Zero value. Abroad in Japan, I understand, has this little, like, oh, I'm showing you the konbinis, or oh, I'm shoving sandwiches in my mouth. I'm finding English. I'm mocking them for their lack of English ability. There's some charm to that. There's something you can get out of that. But after 12 years of this shit, you have nothing to say. Other than, got racism in the face. Yeah, maybe they saw your videos mocking them and they were like, fuck this guy. Or you know what? More likely, they'd never heard of your content and they saw you were a gaijin and they said, yeah, fuck this guy. So you deserve to not eat yakiniku when you have nothing to say about that until it happens to you. And then you have nothing to say past that. It's just, got denied chicken. I'm upset now. The very next day, Tokyo's so lovely. Here's 10 places you can eat fried chicken. You need to do better. You said in this you wanted to be the #1 Japan YouTube channel, whatever that means. And I think you took the whatever that means part a little too literally. I think you should actually fucking try in one of your goddamn videos. Or will we get another 12 years of bullshit?